Hello everyone, in this video we are going to discuss and understand the strategies and preparation plan for getting AIR1. You heard it right, AIR1 in IPM admission test of IIM Indore for the 5-year IPM program. This video talks about IPMAT 2025. The first step is, let's look at it scientifically as to what are the weightages assigned to different aspects of this admission process. Look at this chart carefully. This will give us a lot of inputs about this strategy. Okay, so there is an aptitude test which has 65% weightage in the final scoring, and PI and VAT round, that is for the selected candidates, which has 35% weightage in the final score. But what is more important is looking at this part. So the aptitude test would have two sections of quant short answer and quant MCQ, together 45 questions, creating 50% weightage, and then VA, again MCQ section, 45 questions which creates 50% weightage. Now these two, 50 and 50 together, decides the score for aptitude test, based on which a short list is released for interview candidates. After that, this score, whatever it was, is assigned a weightage of 65%, and the rest 35% comes from PI VAT, which actually includes personal interview, writing ability test, and any kind of weightage assigned for the profile, for academic background, or any diversity issue is all assigned at this stage. Very important chart for us to understand, and all our strategies will now be based on this. Let's now look at these sections one by one, and what should be the strategy in the plan to crack a score which helps us get AIR1. Okay, now quant short answer type, 15 questions which is equivalent to 60 marks. Because this is short answer, these are not MCQs, so you have to fill in the answer. +0 for a right answer, and +4 for a right answer and 0 for a wrong answer, which means there is no negative marking. I am talking about on the 2023 basis. The cutoff for this section was just 12 marks in the general category. Now 12 marks would mean getting 3 questions out of 5 correct. But remember, this is not going to be sufficient. This is necessary. This is necessary to clear the cutoff. But this video is not about clearing the cutoff. This video is about securing AIR1. And this section, look at the gap. Maximum mark 60, cutoff just at 20%. That is 12 marks. So the gap between the cutoff and the highest possible score is huge. Maximum potential rise here. Maximum potential for getting an overall score so high that you get AIR1. What are the important topics here? Based on last 2-3 years, logarithm, functions, inequalities, matrices and determinants, number system, linear quadratic equations. The topics that typically are covered in class 11th and 12th of core mathematics. So even if you are a student from commerce background or from humanities background, you might not be required to study the entire syllabus of class 11th and 12th core maths, but these topics you will have to study, prepare, and important, the level of questions here is moderate to difficult most of the times. You might get 1 or 2, maybe 3 easy questions, what we call as sitters. But most other questions would be moderate to difficult. The preparation strategy. Anybody who prepares for competitive exams gets so much used to preparing for MCQs that this might get neglected. Right? So make sure that you prepare and practice enough for the non-MCQ, one word, 1 digit, 2 digit, a numeric answer. Year-long practice will help because you have to cover all of these topics in rotation. Target 10 serious attempts. Now 10 serious attempts would mean 40 plus marks here. Right? Cutoff was 12, we are targeting 40 marks here. But you can answer and you should answer all questions because negative marking nahi hai. So even if you want to take a estimated guess, a logical guess, this is one section where you feel free to make some guesses. But at least 10 serious attempts is what you need to clear the cutoff plus additional marks to get you closer to AIR 1. Look at the next section now, QA MCQ. 30 questions which is equivalent to 120 marks. Because these are MCQs, so the marking scheme is +4 -1. So if you mark the answer wrong, you lose 1 mark. On 2023 basis, the cutoff was 39 marks for the general category. Not too high. Again, if you look at 120 marks, the cutoff was around 33%. So again, the gap here between the highest possible score and the cutoff is huge. And another section where you don't target just clearing the cutoff, but actually moving much further and scoring good marks here so that you take a lead in the overall score. Okay. The important topic list remains the same, but here you get additionally geometry, arithmetic, linear and PNC, probability, and very important LR and DI, that is logical reasoning and DI. Remember friends, in IPMAT Indore, there is no separate section for LR. And usually every year, one set 5 questions of LR or sometimes DI would always be there. And these are short 5 questions that you can crack. So practicing LR and DI, which you otherwise will do for the other exams, will help here, and these are good solid marks for you to score. Strategy, with targeting a score of 75 minimum for AIR 1. Here the testing strategy, because it's a 40-minute test, 30 questions with targeting 75 marks. So the strategy is about attempts and accuracy both. We need to focus on attempts as well as accuracy. That means high attempts, high accuracy. And how do you move towards it? Here is the strategy. So you start mocks with high attempts first, even if the accuracy goes down, and then gradually focus high accuracy. So you come into the high attempt zone, start making mistakes which you make at a high speed, and then start correcting those mistakes. You need to practice all topics. Now, important, I've seen students normally focusing on topics where, which give more questions. Now, point number 1, you never know which topics will give you more questions, which will give you less questions. But even if there are topics where the weightage is less, presumably less, you can't overlook this because you are targeting 75 content score, right? So don't leave any stone unturned. Prepare all topics. Migrating to VA. Again, VA is an MCQ based section. 45 questions, 180 marks. So if you look at marks wise, both the sections of quant, 180 marks, and this one section of VA, 180 marks. Equal. That's how the weightage of 50-50 gets created. Because it is MCQ, so +4 -1. But look at this, my dear friends. 2023 cutoff was 119 marks for general. Now what does that mean? This is almost 65% of maximum possible score. And hence the gap available here after clearing cutoff and scoring more or much more than the cutoff, the gap is less, and hence the possibility of scoring much beyond the cutoffs is lesser as compared to the one offered by quant sections. So the target score here is 130 plus. That should club with the kind of scores we are targeting in quant. And year-long preparation is must. Why? Because it is about reading comprehension. It is about vocabulary, phrasal verbs, idioms and phrases. A lot of questions would come from these. Now, vocabulary you cannot develop overnight. You cannot develop in 1 week. You cannot learn it in 1 month. You need to do it regularly, continuously. Reading comprehension is not just about strategy to solve a reading comprehension passage and questions based on it. Your ability to read a passage fast, understand author's point of view sooner, will require you to become a good reader otherwise as well, for which you need to keep reading for the entire year. Variety of topics from variety of sources, right? So, year-long preparation is must. None of these gets developed overnight. These are not topics of quant where if you are weak, you give it 2 days, 3 days and you suddenly become strong. VA strategy necessarily requires a year-long regular dose of word list and a lot of reading practice. Now look at the next stage, which is PI and VAT. Remember, this stage is only for the shortlisted candidates, approximately 800. So the number of candidates getting shortlisted for this stage has varied from around 750 to around 950. So I am putting an estimate of around 800. Now understand, I am saying this has got the highest weightage. Look at it like this. Quant and verbal together is 65, half of it, right, will be 32.5, which means quant, both sections together, weightage in the final score is just 32%. VA in the final score is 32%, but PI VAT is 35%. More important, very easy to overlook, a small mathematical look at this, because this is only for the shortlisted candidates. So imagine out of these 800 students, what would be their scores in the written test, and out of that 65% weightage, the difference in the score of these 800 students won't be too much. Everybody will be close to each other. And hence, the PI VAT suddenly creates an opportunity to widen that gap, to take a lead. So, very important stage not to be overlooked. Interview preparation areas, knowing self, your goals, your strengths, your weaknesses, how much you know about yourself, right? Your plans, why you want to take up this course, what are your plans in future, career plans, life goals. Academics, your domain knowledge of 11th and 12th subjects. I have seen, experienced with my students in past, almost everybody in the interviews has been asked about questions about their domain subjects. So students from PCM background were asked questions in physics, chemistry, maths. Students from commerce background were asked questions from economics, accountancy. So doing your 11th and 12th topics is must. General awareness and current affairs, and enough practice of VAT topics. You can always find a list of VAT topics available on the internet. So many portals offer you that list. Strategy. So you need to prepare your SOP, the statement of purpose, which covers all of these. And cross question. So you write your statement of purpose and sort of act on it as a critic. Okay, what is the natural cross question coming out of it? And make sure that you have reasonable answers for those cross questions also. Practicing delivery, because communication skill becomes an important observation at this stage. So you need to practice your delivery. You could actually deliver it to a mirror. You could make your friends, your family members sit in front of you, ask you these questions, and then you deliver the answers. You can create a video of yourself, record a video and play it, find out how you are communicating. Of course, I will keep saying this, read, 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 because reading will help you in reading comprehension. Good reading habits will help you in general awareness, current affairs. So keep reading throughout the year. And do not compromise on 12th boards, because you will have a profile importance here. Right? The overall profile, when you sit in front of the interview panel and they get to know the kind of marks you have scored in class 12th, you definitely create a positive impression in front of them. So here is the timeline based plan that I keep recommending to all my students. From now till December, focus on basic concepts, easy to moderate questions but covering all concepts. January to March, focus on board exams. We've already seen the importance of doing well in class 12th. And then April onwards, focus squarely on IPMAT, written test first, revision, tougher questions, mocks and practicing the strategy. That was all for how you can target All India Rank 1 in IPMAT Indore. Wishing each one of you all the best for IPMAT 2025.